I can name 5 or 10 people off the top of my head who are within a month of going broke who are now worth $100 million. I'm not doing this anymore. I will find another way. I'm getting my butt kicked here. What do I do? How do I get help? Because if I help one person, that's a win for me. That helps me sleep at night. The opportunity won't fall over the table and slap you in the face. You've got to go and get it. You've got to go and find it. Hello everyone, my name is Graham Strang. I hope my younger self is listening. Welcome to our very first episode of our new podcast. If you're from Toowoomba, chances are we've crossed paths or you've worn something with your logo that we've stitched or pressed on. So why are we doing a podcast? Because behind every shirt we embroider, every order we press, there's a story, a person, a team, a business with something worth sharing. Now, we're not here to sell you uniforms. We're here to share the stories that are behind them. We want to celebrate local stories. From a tradie who started with a ute and now has a fleet and a team of employees, to a local sporting team that started from nothing and has built themselves into a club with 80 to 100 players. Our community is very important to us. We love Toowoomba, the people, the businesses, and the way we all show up for each other. I myself want to share what I've learned from 14 years of hip pocket and 25 years of family business. The wins, the lessons, the absolute chaos, the laughter and the tears. For me, this is personal. Hip Pocket is my family and has been so for the last 14 years. I get to work every day with my wife and my kids and my mates. The people who walk through these doors have become our friends and some of you family. This isn't about selling, it's about sharing, about connection, about giving back to the community that's given me so much. Working with my dad for the last 25 years has been nothing short of amazing, and I get to do that with my kids. Tila and I get to tell our own story. I started with a BlackBerry, a little fibro black desk in the corner over there, and absolutely no idea what I was doing. I had to try and find this business-to-business customer base. So they sent me cold calling. I think I did 3 to 4 cold calls in the morning, and I said, this is for the birds. I'm not doing this anymore. I will find another way. I spent 7 days a week for probably the next 6 to 12 months sitting at a market, a school fete. I didn't sell anything. All I took was pens, notebooks, and business cards, and a table full of work boots. And then I got really smart and realized my wife was a very good face painter. So I set her up next door. Then I had all the mums with their kids lined up who had dad along. He took one look at work boots and went, ooh, work boots. I was getting access to decision makers of businesses because they just didn't want to stand in the face painting line. Just that simple.
Yeah.
And that story, I believe there's hundreds of those stories in Toowoomba, if not more, of people who've gone, see a need, fill a need, how do I do it? I've got myself going, how do I get to the next level? The pain, the stress, the happiness, the wins, the losses. And if we can help anyone else who's just starting out, that's going to be the win for us. One of the lesson I hand out all the time is that if you try and do it by yourself, you're going to fail. If you don't have the right people around you when you're trying to succeed in business, succeed at a sport, succeed in a relationship, doesn't matter what it is. If you try and do it on your own, you will fail because we're not wired to do it on our own. Hardest part about being disconnected is you do feel like your own. There are days when you're sitting at your office and you're looking at your bank account, you're looking at your daily turnover, you're looking at your profit from the month, net or gross, and it is a lonely place sometimes. And there's a very hard thing to be comfortable to sit with a group of people and go, okay, I'm getting my butt kicked here. What do I do? How do I get help? Pride is a big thing, especially in men. You get men to share feelings is a very difficult thing. Getting them to share about money is even harder because they don't want to talk about it. I've always been quite free in my business groups I've been in with groups, and I would rather talk about my turnover, what we've done, the net profit, the growth, because if I help one person, that's a win for me. That helps me sleep at night. Getting onto the subject of the young one, there'll always be someone who's a bit ahead of you who's doing something and you're going, oh, how do I do that? Just go and ask. Get out of the zone. The world gives you nothing. The opportunity won't fall over the table and slap you in the face. You've got to go and get it. You've got to go and find it. Young entrepreneurs is even harder because no one takes it seriously. And so you've almost got to punch people in the face a little bit or trip over the right person to help you who actually takes an interest in you. but you might meet 30 or 40 people before you find that person. The hardest lesson you'll learn is not to get disheartened, not to get disillusioned because you've lost. I can name 5 or 10 people off the top of my head who are within a month of going broke, who are now worth $100 million. They found a way and they got there. When you start to have success and you start to go forward, your friends change. And it doesn't matter what age you are, your friends change when you're trying to succeed. Because some will go, "What are you doing, idiot? How boring is that? Let's go to the pub." And sometimes it's hard because, I've got this thing about, if you're the smartest person at your table, you need to go and find a new table. That's not being negative of anyone who's my friend. It's if I can't get advice that I can grow with, I need to go and find people who can give me the advice, because you won't continue to go forward. You'll just stay at that same level. Some people are very comfortable with that. Entrepreneurship and working for yourself can be, actually, to be brutal, it is a lonely game at times, because your friends who are working 9 to 5 don't understand why they're sitting there at 2 o'clock in the morning in the glow of your phone writing a note to send to yourself because you thought of something. You actually have to be standing on the precipice. It's a make or break. You've either got to jump off and close your eyes because you don't have much other choice, or you shut the whole thing down. Whereas the ones who really start to succeed go ahead, they're prepared to take a calculated risk. They're prepared to go, that is an opportunity. I'm going to struggle over here for a while to get that opportunity, but once I marry these two up, it's go time. And that's how, to be honest, how I'm trying to look at the world at the moment. We've worked very hard to build what we are now and where we've got to, and part of my brain's going, how do I double it? How do I triple it? How do I turn this into something that is no longer a job for me, but is creating an income stream and a base that means we can live comfortably, give opportunities to many people, but I don't have to work 70 hours a week. What Hip Pocket looked like when we started, what Lock and Key looked like when we started, are two very different beasts. I talk about my little table in the corner over there. All the clothing we had in the place was on teardrop racks in the middle of the store, and any extra uniforms we had were on cardboard boxes on the floor. We didn't have any storage racks. We had a little single-head embroidery machine, and we just had to figure it out. But we're not alone in this story. There's so many small business stories of people who have started with, all the second-hand gear they picked up off Marketplace to help fit out their first little shop space, or buying microphones on Temu because they're trying to figure it out. So if you love a good yarn and you care about local business, or you've ever worn a uniform we've made, this podcast is for you. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and join us each week as we share the stories about what Toowoomba is. And if you've got a story we should tell, no matter what it is, whether it's local community, whether it's a small business story, or you just want to get word out about what you do, all you need to do is send us a message, send us an email, or you can actually comment, and we'll get in touch with you. Success is 8 hours sleep, waking up rested, and feeling like you want to do it all over again.